Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alissa Coram here, and today is Wednesday, November 13th. In today's market, we saw stocks hold firm after some inflation data came out. And here to break it all down with me is my colleague, Ken Shreve. Ken, it's great to see you.
Thank you, Ali. Great to see you too. Yeah, kind of just not much movement in the broad market, but plenty of explosive movers to the upside and downside that we've been seeing a lot of lately. Want to take a look at a nice earnings report from Flutter Entertainment. FLUT is the symbol there. Also, Cloudflare, NET, just kind of a tricky market. Tried to break out, faded pretty badly. Also in the retail sector, busy week of earnings next week in retail. So let's take a look at Burlington Stores, BURL.
All right, well, we will check those stocks out. But first, we want to take a look at the major indexes, and we'll start with the NASDAQ composite. So here's a look at the NASDAQ, down a little less than 0.3% in today's session, but still holding in this tight range. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 up fractionally on the day, closing just below that 6,000 mark. On the upside, we had the Dow leading the gains, up just 0.1% or so by session's close. It's right around that 44,000 mark. And we had the Russell 2000 lagging today, down some 0.7% into the close after a day of outsized losses in Tuesday's session as well. But Ken, what do you make of the action for the NASDAQ and S&P 500?
Well, for the Nasdaq, Ali, we're still seeing an index that's showing a lot of strength and support here. We had quite a pickup in volume from yesterday, so remains to be seen if we're going to get a mild distribution day for the Nasdaq or not. I think we probably avoided one, but it's pretty interesting. Breadth was negative again today on the Nasdaq for the second day in a row, almost 2-to-1 negative. Yet you have the Nasdaq just kind of holding strong here. So we have to respect this uptrend. I think there are some yellow flags out there, potential headwinds that are still worth paying attention to. So you want to respect the uptrend, but I just saw the latest reading from Investors Intelligence, which showed that a survey among stock market newsletter writers, that bullish sentiment has now crossed 60%, which is considered pretty extreme. And when you get the crowd leaning one way, very bullish, sometimes you can get a little bit of a market pullback. So that data came out earlier today. We're kind of at an extreme reading in bullish sentiment. That being said, like I said, the market is still delivering some pretty strong movers on the upside and some pretty strong movers on the downside as well. So
Yeah.
Still feeling good about the market, but just recognizing that there's a lot of extended stocks out there right now, and I want to be careful not to chase, which I mentioned earlier this week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. Next, we want to take a look at, we can take a look at small caps. So here's a look at IWM. Your thoughts on the action in small caps here?
Small caps really ripped higher right at the open because this consumer price index that we got at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time really did not reveal any surprises at all. Market understands that inflation is coming down. Prices are still pretty high at the market, but at least the latest reading from the consumer price index was all in line with expectations. So you had the Russell 2000 that was up close to 1%, but then it reversed lower because you had the 10-year yield, which was initially lower, closed up near its high for the day. So interest rates, that's a 0 TNX. And you can see yields were lower, but this was looks like an outside day, closed up near its high. So that weighed on small caps again, rising rates.
Mm-hmm. It also felt like growth stocks to some extent, in your more speculative names. You mentioned Net, which we'll get to, faded. A big earnings mover out of the gate this morning. Kava, which I do own, also faded pretty badly. Do you think that this has to do with that rising 10-year yield, or what are your thoughts on the
Well, I think
profit
a
taking
name
today?
I think a name like Kava, which has been such a strong winner, market is very optimistic about growth prospects here. So this was probably just some profit taking from people that had really big gains in the stock. I'm not sure if it faded just because rates rose. I think Kava has just been one of the best performers in the restaurant group, and probably just got hit with some plain
Mm.
old-fashioned profit taking today.
Got it. Okay, well, in terms of the sector action, let's go on over to energy. Here's a look at XLE reversing higher on the day, Ken.
Yeah, this is interesting. Energy stocks generally have been lagging the market, but XLE was the top performing S&P 500 sector today. What's really interesting here is that you did have this reversal higher, and it will be also interesting to see if XLE can move above this 95 level. You can see it ran up to 94.51 several months ago, then ran up to 94.21. So this is in position for a breakout try over the 95 level. Maybe some oil and gas stocks, will start looking better, and maybe set up for some buy opportunities. So thought
Yeah.
it was interesting action in XLE today.
Okay, and then let's take a look at chips because we saw a lot of selling there again today with SMH down 1.7%, now down 4 sessions in a row. This week, already down about 4.5%. That is an inside bar to last week, but still giving back quite a bit, down 4.5%.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be as the Nasdaq goes, or as semiconductor stocks go, so goes the Nasdaq. But the Nasdaq has been, we just looked at a daily chart for the Nasdaq, just really holding on to gains. So the performance for the index has been quite impressive, even though we've had some weakness here, like you said, for four straight days. Nvidia, obviously, the bellwether in this group, still holding up. But I'm watching SMH. Closely here as it gets close to its 50-day moving average. So this is really a key test coming up. I don't think the bulls want to see a break of support here for SMH, but we'll see if it holds support. But it is one of the main ETFs I'm keeping a close eye on here.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at three stocks of interest, starting with Flutter Entertainment with a strong finish today. Ken, I know you wanted to see that when we talked on IBD Live. It was starting to fade off of highs in the early going there, but it looks like it got back up on its feet and closed at or near highs of the day with a 7% gain. So definitely earning it an RS line blue dot as it broke out of the base today. This is the FanDuel parent here,
Yeah,
FLUT.
FanDuel and DraftKings, your two big 800-pound gorillas in the U.S. And yeah, Flutter is the parent company of FanDuel. So yeah, Flutter was a nice earnings breakout today, and we pulled up that intraday chart. It was interesting to see a lot of buyers come in during the final half hour of trading or so. This is how you want to see a breakout act. Close up near its highs, and yeah, there's that buying late in the session. Flutter is very interesting. They gave strong EBITDA guidance. You can see that the fundamentals were very strong. Big profit of 43 cents a share. Revenue growth accelerated again, so that's always a good sign. And I think it was in late September, this company also announced a huge share buyback, and they're kind of in the process of that right now, to the tune of about $5 billion. So this is a company that is putting its money where its mouth is. Probably going to watch this one for a little bit of a pullback, maybe get a little closer to the entry here. So we'll keep an eye on for a low volume pullback. Maybe it comes back a little closer to that pivot, but yet another earnings report that delivered a powerful breakout.
Absolutely. Okay, next on the list is NET. This is Cloudflare, finishing the day with a gain of 3.6%, though off of its highs and pulling back in after a breakout attempt today, Ken.
Yeah, still trying to break out here. It's had some trouble in recent days, but this is just sort of an example of how tricky the market is. There were a lot of growth stocks actually that look like Cloudflare today. Strong early gains, and then gave a lot back. So wasn't a great breakout for Cloudflare today. I wanted to look at the weekly chart here because David Ryan on Tuesday on IBD Live was making some good points about the earnings line and stocks that are breaking out. And I think Cloudflare is another really good example of this. You can see that earnings line, which is just really indicative of a company that has been delivering explosive earnings in recent quarters. So even though this is probably a little bit of a laggard here with a relative strength rating of 64, and you can see that relative strength line is still pretty far off highs like Cloudflare is. This is a name that still could work. I mean, you can see earnings growth in recent quarters has been explosive. The top line growth has been there as well. So this is another name here that we can watch and maybe get a slightly better entry. It was gave back some gains today, and we'll see if it can reclaim that buy point in the future. So still holding here, and still could try to break out over 100. So we're watching it.
Yeah. And let's round things out with a look at Burlington Stores, ticker BRUL. And it faded as well, still up 1.5% on the day, clearing a trend line entry within this base with less than a week to go till earnings.
Yeah, really seeing a lot of retailers performing well here. Besides Burlington Stores, we've got Walmart, which has been a huge
Yeah.
performer in retail, and so this is an area of the market that we're going to be looking at pretty closely. So we'll see how the how Burlington holds here. It got pulled down with the market late, but arguably gave an early buy signal. Burlington and. But it got pulled down late with the market as well. So tricky right now, putting new money to work in the market. Hopefully, we've been at a 80 to 100% invested percentage for quite some time. So hopefully, people are sitting with some nice gainers. But when it comes time to put fresh money to work, maybe you take some gains in some winners and looking for stocks to buy. It's very tricky. If you bought Burlington early entry today on that breakout over a trend line, maybe sitting on a little bit of a loss, but still a stock with a great track record of growth. And be interested to hear what they have to say next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, one more ticker to go and then we'll wrap up. We wanted to check in on Cisco right after the bell.
Uh
It
huh.
looks like I'm not seeing too much action just yet, Ken, in reaction to earnings. I'm not sure if they're like Apple, where it doesn't come out till 30 minutes after the bell, or if it's just a muted reaction so far. Do
Yeah,
you have any more information?
I know. I wanted to just see because I know they were reporting after the close. So I don't see that they have reported yet, but it is an important earnings report for the technology sector. Cisco has been a huge performer. That relative strength rating of 78, looks a little bit light considering the move the stock has made in recent weeks. And I think it's an important stock in the technology sector. So we'll see how it responds to earnings, trading pretty quietly right now. So don't know if they've reported quite yet.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that one and see what the impact is on the tech sector potentially with their results and guidance. All right, well, that is it from us for today, everyone. Ken, thank you so much as always for your insights.
No problem.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. We will be back with more tomorrow morning on IBD Live, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details on that. We will see you there. And then we'll also see you right back here tomorrow after the close.